Hi everyone, and welcome to the playlist of version control using Git. In today's video, we are going to learn about how to use Git locally. Here is the agenda of today's video. First of all, we are going to learn that how to initialize a local repository. After that, we'll be adding some files in that repository. Then we'll be looking at the staging part of those files. After that, we are going to learn about commits, and then finally we'll see what rollbacks are. So let's get started with our video. A Git repository is nothing but the folder which is going to contain the project on which we are going to work. So there are two ways of creating a repository. You can either take a local directory that is currently not under version control and you can easily turn it into a Git repository, or you can clone an existing Git repository from somewhere else. So when you go with the first part and when you convert a normal folder into a local Git repository, then that repository is known as local repository. And when you go with the second part, that is when you clone a repository that already exists somewhere else, then that repository is known as remote repository. In today's video, we are only going to talk about local repositories. So let's understand first how to initialize a local repository. So in order to initialize a local repository, first of all you have to create a new folder. So I'm going to create a new folder here and I'm going to name it Git, and then I'm going to navigate inside this folder. As you can see that this folder is like any other folder, there is nothing special about it. We cannot say that this is a Git repository right now. So how do we convert it into a Git repository? Let's see. After coming inside this folder, right click here and go to Git bash here. Let me zoom the screen for you. And now you can easily create a local repository with the help of a very simple command named git init. As soon as you press enter, it will say that a Git repository which is empty has been initialized, and it confirms the presence of a directory named .git. You can easily check the presence of this directory with the help of a command called ls-la. So you can see that there exists this Git directory, and presence of these three files indicate that you have successfully converted your normal folder into a Git repository. Now we can also see the contents of this directory with the help of a command named ls-l, and then we are going to list the folder name, or you can say directory name. So you can see that it contains various files, and you can say that you can consider this directly as a database for storing information or changes about the project on which you are going to work. So you can say that whenever you create a Git repository, a new directory gets created inside that repository, and this is how we can confirm that we have converted our folder into a Git repository. So what is the need of this new directory, and like what is the area outside this directory called? So the area outside the Git directory is known as the working directory, or you can say working tree. You can consider it as a workbench for your working part on your project. So the area outside the Git directory is known as the working directory, or you can say working tree. You can consider it as a workbench for your project work. You can do all the modifications and changes that you want in your project in this directory, and this directory contains all the files that are currently tracked by the Git directory, as well as those files that are yet to be added in the list of tracked files. But our working directory looks quite empty right now because we don't have anything in our repository. So let's add some files there. So let's add file in our working directory now. You can simply add any file here. For instance, I am going to add a new text file, and I am going to name this text file as file1. So we have just made a text file here, but how do we make sure that this file is being tracked by our Git directory? Because right now it is not being tracked by our Git directory, and the Git directory is not going to know the changes that we are going to make in this file. So for doing that, what we have to do is that we have to go to the uh, git bash, and we have to type a command called git add and then the file name. With this, we can say that we have added our file to the staging area. Now, what is a staging area? So, the staging area is basically a file that is maintained by Git, and it contains all the information about what files and changes are going to go into our next commit. So, right now, our staging area contains our file named file1.txt. So, the staging area, or we can say staging file, knows that this file1.txt is going to go into our next commit. We can use the git status command to get some information about the current working tree and pending changes. So let's look into that. Let me type git status here, and it is written that right now no commits have been made and this changes is yet to be committed, or we can say that this file is yet to be saved in our git directory. So when we want the git directory to save our file, we simply commit the file. So for that we have a command named git commit -m, and then we can pass any random comment that we want to add. So let's suppose we will be adding my first commit. So we can say that the changes have been saved successfully now, and now our git directory is successfully tracking our file1.txt. Let's again check git status once to see the status of our current working tree. So we can say that we are now working on a clean tree, and we don't have anything to commit. We don't have any new files right now. All of our files that are there in the repository are being tracked by the git directory successfully. Now let's play around with this file a little. So I'm going to go inside this file and I'm going to write a new line here. Something like working on my first git repo. I'm going to save this file. Let's close this. Now let's again see our git status. You can say that we have you can see that it is written over here that we have modified file1.txt, and these changes, the changes after we modified this file, are not saved right now, and they are not staged for commit. We have not sent this thing in the staging area. Why? Because we did not add the file after making those changes. So that is what we are going to do now. We are again going to add the file, because see, you have to add the file again and again after you make some change. So no matter how many changes you are making, you have to add the file each and every time. So let's again add this file named file1.txt, and now we are again going to check the git status. So it is showing that now the changes that we made is there in the staging area, and then we can say that we are now able to successfully save the changes that we have made, and in order to do that we have to commit our changes. So what command do we use to commit the changes? We use something like git commit -m, and now I'm going to add a comment called made a change and enter. So it is said that one file is changed and one insertion is there. So we have inserted a new line in our file, and that is why that file is changed. So we can say that the changes that we have made are now successfully saved there in the git directory. So this is how local repositories work, and this is how we send files to staging areas. This is how we make commits. Let's understand everything again. So this is our git directory, which is a database for monitoring each and every change that we are going to make in our project. This is our working directory, and in this directory we are going to modify the project on which we are working. So this is the file, and we are going to make changes in this file. Now this is the staging area. And this staging area is going to contain all the information about what files and changes are going to go into our next commit. So first of all, we send a particular file, or we can say the changes that we have made in a file, to staging area. And then from staging area, when we want to save those changes, only in that condition we commit those changes. And when we commit the changes, then those changes successfully get saved in our git directory, and then we can say that the file has been tracked successfully, and all the changes have been saved successfully in the git directory. So this is how the flow of local repositories look. Now let's talk about rollbacks. There can be time when you will end up making some unnecessary changes in your files, or unnecessary commits that were not at all needed in the first place, and that might create some kind of havoc in your project. So in such situation, obviously you would want to go back to the previous version of your project. To undo things is a very basic and general need, and that is exactly where rollbacks help us. So how do they do that? Suppose this is the progress that has been made in a project over time, and now we have made another commit here. So this gray commit was the most recent one, but later on we realized that okay, this commit was not at all needed in the first place. So now we want to go back to the previous version, that is this version of our project. So what happens is that there is a pointer named head that always points at the latest commit that we make. So with the help, like by using this head pointer, we can go back to the previous version of our project. Let's see how do we do that. Last commit that we made here was this one. Like we added a new line in our text file, and we committed the changes, and we wrote made a change. Now we want to reverse this change. We want to reverse this commit. So we can simply do that by writing this commit by writing this command called git revert, and I'll be writing head here, and let's press enter. So on pressing enter, we have successfully gone back to the previous version of our project, and we have successfully reverted the commit that we made initially. And now when we go back to the file that we made, and then we check again whether the comment that we added is here or not, so you can see that the comment then that we added here, or the commit that we made previously, has been deleted now. So in this way we can revert any comment too, and we can go back to the previous version of any project. So that's it for today's video, guys. In today's video we learned about local repositories, and in next video we are going to learn about branches. So stay tuned for more such amazing content.